means it's time for the FIU Music Hour on WDNA 88.9 FM, where we present live weekly performances in the WDNA Jazz Gallery and feature students, faculty, and alumni from Florida International University's Herbert and Nicole Wertheim School of Music and the Performing Arts. I'm your host today and FIU faculty Dr. Russ Spiegel, and along with our executive producer, Dr. Karen Velaz, we'd like to welcome you to our show. Whether you're listening to us at home, in your car, or live on WDNA.org/FIU, we are delighted to have you with us. Today, we are pleased to feature the FIU Jazz Student Combo 1 under the leadership of Professor Gary Campbell and featuring undergraduate majors Michael Mackey on trumpet, Jake Mongan on guitar, Calvin Gay on bass, and Enrique Puli on drums. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning.
Wait, let's pick up the, how's it going?
Hi. Good.
So, this band just got back from LA, right?
Yeah, they did an event out there last weekend, I believe it was. And it was a big success. It was a beautiful venue. Karen sent me some...
Karen Velaz, yes.
Karen Velaz, yeah, who accompanied them along with Omar Latif. Excuse me, he's new, so I got to get his name.
Right.
Who's running the big band now and teaching some trumpet and brass and all that. So they went and had a great time. It was for some, possible funding opportunities for people out there is a big thing.
Excellent.
And I understand it went very well. I heard a little bit of it, and the guys had a great time. And
wonderful. So we're going to hear a couple tunes. What are we going to hear right off the bat?
We'll hear 26-2.
By John Coltrane.
By John Coltrane, and then the Falling Grace by Steve Swallow.
Fantastic. FIU Jazz Combo 1. So I'm sitting here with Gary Campbell, who's professor at FIU and leads this ensemble here. Good morning again, Gary.
Good morning.
And can you tell us a little bit about this ensemble? Do they meet, how many times do they meet? How do they get together?
Well, I mean, through the faculty's knowledge of all these guys and a little bit of auditioning, I suppose. Mm-hmm. But it's, try to group them together in compatible things. And of course, level is important too, but, usually there are enough guys for the first few combos that are of comparable level. So then it can also be a matter of schedule and things like that, because they only meet 2 hours a week. I mean, officially in the rehearsal, but they get together outside of that too, which is kind of necessary, really. I mean, for any people that want to play, you have to play whenever the opportunity presents itself. So at night and whatever, in the morning, whenever, find a room or find a place and play. So they're on the case all the time.
Absolutely. And what are some of the things you work on with these ensembles when you're working with them?
Well, being that they're already good players, it's mostly a matter of, broader conceptual considerations in the repertoire, to get a balanced kind of repertoire, and also how to approach the various tunes, various time feels, and all of that. I mean, because I don't have to tell them what notes to play or anything like that. Mm-hmm. Mainly how to balance a performance or any other, ensemble type issues. um, dynamics,
That's a good one.
considerations with the arrangement, and things of that nature.
Mhm.
But they're pretty, I mean, basically pretty autonomous because they know what they want to play and are good at selecting things, you know, that are of interest to them. And so I just sort of let them go with that and then just try to advise that, the performance of that, you know.
Okay. And they're together for a full year, or is it a semester?
Well, I mean, officially it's semester by semester because some people are done at the end, in the middle of the term, but generally it's a year. And there's no reason to change it. We don't. I mean, or maybe one or two people,
Right.
because students are coming and going. So we have to just basically deal with that, you know.
And how many jazz ensembles are there right now at FIU,
Boy.
if you know that, or how many that you're working with?
Well, I'm just working with these two. And then there's a few other combos. Jamie has one, and Cisco, I believe.
Jamie Owsley and Cisco Dimas.
Cisco Dimas, and I think Ruben Galan may have an ensemble as well. And then, of course, there's the big band Latin Jazz Ensemble.
Fantastic. All right, well, we have time for one more song before we head into the half hour. What are we going to be hearing next?
This is going to be a great George Shearing original called Conception.
All right, Conception. Stream your favorite programs in the app and click the donate button to renew your membership or give for the first time. You can take advantage of our $72 tote bag special. All the links and info you need are at WDNA.org. And you are listening to a live performance in the WDNA Jazz Gallery of the FIU Jazz Combo 1 on the FIU Music Hour on WDNA 88.9 FM. Please stick around. We'll be right back after these messages. Tonight, Tuesday, September 19th, 8 p.m. at the Coral Gables Congregational United Church of Christ, the Wertheim School of Music and Performing Arts proudly presents a special performance of pianist Asia Korepanova, Rachmaninoff at 150-24 Preludes. In partnership with the Friends of Chamber Music of Miami, we proudly present a spectacular evening of Rachmaninoff featuring pianist Asia Korepanova. She's playing Rachmaninoff 24 Preludes from Opus 23, 3, and 32. For this and many more exciting events, you can find information at fiu.universitytickets.com. And now back to our show with the FIU Jazz Student Combo 1 under the leadership of Professor Gary Campbell. I think we're going to hear Darn That Dream. All right. I'm here with Gary Campbell and also with the FIU Jazz Combo 1. Gary, I had a couple questions for you for our listeners.
Shoot away.
All right. Where do you hail from originally?
I was born and raised in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Sort of the center of the states, pretty much, right?
Well, yeah, gateway to the West, they used to say.
And how did you find yourself falling into becoming a jazz musician?
Well, I always loved listening to music. My parents were musicians, amateur musicians, although my father had played in territory bands and stuff.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Played trumpet. And so there was records around. My dad had the old 78s of all the swing bands, and all of that kind of thing, and some classical records as well. And so it was always around. And
But when you were growing up, was there an opportunity to study jazz?
no, I mean, other than just to listen to it and ask questions of older guys. I mean, when I got a little older, I took advantage of the opportunity to study with David Baker, who was, and then Indianapolis. There were a lot of great musicians coming from Indianapolis.
Right, but no chance for a formal education in that sense.
No, not in a university or anything. You could take private lessons, or mainly if you were doing, like when I was a teenager, I played with dance bands with older guys, and you just pester them until they tell you stuff, you know.
So things have changed quite a lot since.
Oh yeah,
Since
for the
those
better,
days.
I don't know, but no.
And what led you to coming to Miami? And when?
Well, originally I came down here with Whit Seidner in 1966 when Jerry Coker was assigned to start the jazz program at UM. And we were all at Indiana University for a year or so, I was. And then we came down here, Jerry Coker came down here, and Whit and I came down with him. We're the first students there. And Jerry was just forming the curriculum at that time, but there were tons of work. I mean, so we got a lot of experience working all kinds of gigs.
Right.
Show bands, you know, society stuff, club dates as they were called.
Right.
Any kind of stuff you could come up with to make a living, because we both had children at that time and, you know, family to support and everything, and try to go to school and all that and working. So,
Right. What would be one or two of the most important things you learned coming up this way, and just about being a professional musician?
well, that if you want to play, you have to play, and everybody's sort of in the same boat. You're out there, and you got to do gigs. So you do whatever gigs you can get, and you hang out as much as you can. I remember, well, it was in '66. It's a long time ago. Ira Sullivan had a gig at the Rancher Lounge out on Biscayne or wherever the heck it was. I don't even remember now. But it was a great jazz gig that after a stupid gig, you could go hear Ira. He would let me sit in. Bobby Mover would show up sometimes. He was another great alto player. And the Castellano brothers played with him off and on. So it was a, you know, good scene to hang out with the older guys, play with Ira,
Right.
who was like a, you know, a real bebop, old school bebop guy.
Right. Absolutely.
Who always came to play.
Right. Well, he was about to play with Charlie Parker when Parker passed away.
Well, he did play with Bird for a little bit, and also the Messengers with Donald Byrd. And he played with a lot of people, and from Chicago, you know. And Steve Bagby, who was also from Chicago, who was around later, a little later, came down here from Chicago. Anyway, and then I went to New York for 15 years or so, and then came back to Miami to do a little bit of teaching and find more work and other influences as well. So basically, you've got to be out there working, and that's where you learn how to play music. Because band leaders that you work with don't have patience if you're messing up all the time. Suddenly, you just find yourself not on the gig anymore.
Right.
And then you're forced with economic pressures or whatnot. But so that gave you the impetus to get it together, whatever it was. No real books, you know. I remember when I first worked with Ira, he wanted to play Solar. I said, geez, I heard that, but I never. So I said, what are the changes? He said, I don't know, your first note's a D.
Good luck from there.
That's all he told me.
Right.
And then they hit, you know, and so you're there, oh my shit, I gotta, you know, listen, which is the most important thing. You gotta listen,
Right.
and figure out, identify what's going on, and get with it. You know, get in there.
As soon as possible. Right. All right. Well, speaking of getting in there, we've got time for one, maybe two more. Let me see what we're doing. Let's do one tune, and then we'll see where we are, and we may have to close out. FIU Jazz Ensemble 1. What are you guys going to
Also,
play?
I'd just like to briefly mention that on the trip to L.A. they went, there was also a wonderful singer that went with them, Emily Tang, who's with Lisanne's voice program.
Right.
Who did a wonderful job, sang some songs with
Oh,
them.
okay.
So don't want to
Fantastic.
leave anybody out, you know.
Right. Right. What are we going to hear next?
I believe we're going to hear There'll Never Be Another You with a few little alterations thrown in by
Fantastic.
Calvin.
All right. Talented FIU Jazz Student Combo 1 under the leadership of Professor Gary Campbell with Michael Mackey on trumpet, Jake Mongan on guitar, Calvin Gay on bass, and Enrique Puli on drums on the FIU Music Hour on WDNA 88.9 FM. I've been your faculty host, Dr. Russ Spiegel, and along with our executive producer, Dr. Karen Velaz, I'd like to thank our crew of FIU graduate students, Anna and Ruben, WDNA's sound and tech wizard, Alex Aldrich, and the staff of WDNA 88.9 for today's broadcast. If you'd like more information on all our programs, make sure to call 305-348-2896 or simply like our Facebook and or Instagram page to stay up to date with all our upcoming performances. Thank you so much for joining us, and make sure to join the FIU Music Hour for more great music every Tuesday, 11 a.m. to noon. Also, next week, WDNA holds their fall membership drive. It's going to be a short one, so it makes sense to give early. You can get your donation done and out of the way for the year. When you give $72 or more by September 26th, we'll also thank you with a WDNA tote bag, jazz download card, and a year-long membership. Don't miss out on this deal. Online at WDNA.org or on the new WDNA app. And thank you in advance for that. And we're going to hear one more song from the ensemble. I believe is it Scrapple from the Apple? From Charlie Parker.